Yeah, welcome back, guys. Many of my students have always been asking, which sax is the best to start with? Which sax is the best among the soprano, the alto, and the tenor sax? Which one is the best for beginners? For me, I'll just suggest that the alto sax is the best because it's easy to manipulate. You can play. It's easy to play skills. It's easy to play the beginning skills and the rest of them and some other stuff. It's easy to manipulate. You can play it and you play it efficiently. You can play songs. Why soprano? Yeah, what I'm saying is because you have to play it in tone. If you don't play it in tone, then I don't think it will work. So it has soprano is also a very nice instrument. It's a high registered instrument, very high, higher than the alto sax. You know, the alto sax itself is an E flat instrument, while the soprano is an B flat instrument. So the register is higher. It's higher than the alto. The alto, you can play those other low notes with ease, less tension, less pressure. But soprano, you have to add some tension and pressure on your elbow bow. And also too, the soprano mouthpiece is smaller. Yeah, the soprano sax mouthpiece is smaller, and you will find a little difficulty. But I will suggest that if you're a beginner, you first of all start with the alto sax. Then, if you can still cope and still move further, you can go to the tenor and soprano sax. But for me, let me be honest and frank with you. And when I initially started playing the saxophone, I started with the soprano sax, and I found it interesting. Though I had so many difficult times, let me not lie. I had so many difficult times. I wanted an alto sax, but I wasn't able to afford it by then. So, my dad now suggested I should just go for the soprano sax, which I was not happy because I really needed the alto sax like mad. I wanted to play alto sax thing, but I find it a great privilege and honor to start with the soprano because I can play right now. I can play the alto sax. I can even play the tenor sax with ease because I've mastered those difficulties that has to do with the different hierarchies of the saxophone. So that's just it, and I'm grateful for that. So if you're a beginner and you're looking for a good saxophone, I will suggest and I recommend an alto sax for you to start with. If you start with that one, it's more you'll be relaxed. What I mean, you'll be relaxed. It has a lower working notes. Like if you play a C, you don't have to add pressure. You just have to play it the way it is. So that's how it is. So as a beginner, if you want to start, just start with an alto sax. That is just my suggestion. I don't know about how your own will be like. Maybe you can, if you want to start with soprano the way I did, it's still very okay. But the ideal one I would suggest for you to start with is an alto sax, so that it will help you'll be more comfortable. Transitioning of your fingers, it will be easier with the alto sax. And also too, before I even, I mostly play straight soprano sax, and the first time when I started blowing, when I now say okay, let me try alto sax, I was having issues because I was used to just this positioning of the saxophone, while alto sax is curved and like this, you get. So I started learning, started getting used to it. But though it's still the same fingering, if you know the fingering very well, if you know the keys very well, you can still, it will not even take you much time, less stress for the alto sax or the tenor sax either. So if you really want to start, today, tomorrow is not too late. I'll suggest alto sax. Though it's quite expensive, but that's the best so far for all. It's the best so far for all beginners. So if you should start with the alto sax, it's not a bad idea, and I promise you do well with time, with consistency. In anything you are doing, you just have to be consistent about it.